Hi, welcome to the first lesson, the first module in lesson one. We're going to be looking at ways to unloosen any blocks you have with your money. Now, a lot of people might ask, how does it work with creativity and finance? Well, you have the two Denises, right?
Yeah.
Denise Francis Robinson and Denise Williams to take you through a different way of looking at your money. Now, we understand the world of budgeting, forecasting for a business owner, dealing with teams, hitting sales targets. All of that is the external. Okay.
Mhm,
What
mhm.
our job is to help you with what's happening in the heart. And that's why it's a heart centered approach. Isn't that right,
Yes,
Des?
yes. Tap into that unconscious.
Yeah,
I like the phrase that the canvas or art is a portal to the unconscious. Stuff
absolutely.
comes up and you're like, wow, I didn't know that that was there.
Yeah,
So we're going
yeah,
to become very intentional about
yeah.
how we access some of this creativity and how we get that creativity to help us just our day-to-day goings and comings, whether it's money or going to the supermarket. So
All
today I
right.
want us to remember as we start this module is that we want to always center with the breath. The breath,
Mm,
when we're anxious for whatever reason, and your reason is different to mine, but we all get anxious. The breath is that space of just grounding you and anchoring yourself back into your norm or your relaxation. So we do the 4 by 4 in breath for 1, 2, 3, 4, and sigh out 1, 2, 3, 4. In 2, 3, 4, and out. And it's a ritual. It's a ritual, guys. You have to make it just become a part of who you are. So I want to show you this wonderful little exercise. You're going to think of one phrase, one idea, one concept, one single word that you want to dwell on, that you want to have some fun with, that you want to have some new and insight about. And we're going to actually write it on our paper, and I've actually done that for you. You actually seen some examples of some of my students' previous works, but we're actually going to write this on a piece of paper. So I'm writing my money. We're all about the money today. So I wrote my money. And you just take a marker. Remember, you had to gather all of your various little tools or from around the house or from inside your office, your home office. So many people, I'm sure, have a crayon or two and a marker and a pen. It could just be a pen, all right? And so you grab your marker and whatever that word is, you hold that right hand over your heart just for a moment, and because you're becoming intentional, you have to really just drop your attention into your heart space. And that word or phrase or idea will come up somewhere. I went ahead and I had my money. But yours can be my wealth, abundance, joy, whatever. So you just use any kind of penmanship. You can write it in join ups, as we say in Jamaica. That is cursive. Yes. I'm just going to write cash here. And notice that I wrote it going across and intersecting with the first set of writing that I did. Now, the idea is that it doesn't have to be perfect, but you're going to just continue to rewrite that same statement over and over, repetition, until you find yourself being very relaxed around the idea that you have written down. And once you've done that, I'm going to show you in my journal. and I'm going to recommend everybody get a journal. I mean, like you can't lose. I know many of us already have one, and so this is my design that I created just from repeating the same idea or word over and over. And once I've done that, then I grab my crayons or my coloring, and then remember what I said something about jumping in mud puddles and becoming like a kid again, going back to play. I mean, like how many of us stop playing? We want to continue our play. Yeah. And so, yeah, then that was fast. That was good. And that's fast. And so now what you're going to do is just color in the spaces. Just have fun.
Oh,
Just like when you were a little kid, you had your crayons, you got a coloring book. But now we have made our own design, and we're thinking you're still kind of meditating on the word because you're coloring in those spaces, and you continue doing that. So yes, then I'm seeing you. Very good.
can
Yes.
I show my book? You took us through this in January, so
Does it have? Is it with the line? You have one of the line works that you that
no,
you.
this was the one we did in January, and I've been using it all
Oh,
year,
okay, right. So okay,
putting in
guys.
my
So you see,
stuff. I want to be an A+ student.
student. So totally carried away, and that's the great thing about the creative process. Once you start, just start. I'm sorry for you. You're going to be taken on a ride. Yes.
Okay,
And
so
so if we look back
I have
then,
my crayon. So I take my gold crayon, and
right.
you said fill in the circles.
Right. Exactly. I mean, I just said gold. You're still keeping that consciousness of like investment. Everybody says you should invest in gold. Like,
Yeah,
oh, don't
yeah,
bother with the stock thing. Go with the gold.
yeah,
But then you can explain those things better than I can. But
yeah,
but but what you're doing, guys, is that you're saturating your consciousness. You're
yeah,
becoming more in tuned and more aware of what you're thinking and how you're doing and then how you're being. So some people might be doing this and say, this don't feel right, that nothing is happening. And once you start to contract like that, you're contracting, you feel that yeah, that's definitely an indicator that there's some block going on there. And so you can decide to maybe shift directions a little bit, or maybe, okay, let me back off for a little bit and start again. It's different things. So you really are getting into conversations with yourself and that's the beauty of working with the journal or working like this, on a daily basis. You really come into that idea that self-care takes time, and the more you engage with self, it's the larger you become, the more aware of just life, your journey, and so on. And that's what this little exercise offers you. So then, can you show me that slide? So on the right you can see that that's the same kind of approach that I had with that one, where you just got a word and you dwelled on the word and meditated and colored. And then on the one on the left now, one of my students did it, and he had mom at the center, and he had all this patchwork ideas arising for him around his mother. So for that time that he was doing that, he was really dwelling in that place of honoring his mother. And if that only happens once in a while or every day, well, that's just big benefits. So
wow,
guys,
I
it's
love it.
as
And let me
easy as
say,
that, right?
yeah, let
So
me say for this module, for my analytical friends who need to see how the dots are connected. For me, I'll share my word. I did cash flow, I did
mhm.
team. And one of the things about financial coaching is that it is a team effort to build your cash flow. But a lot
Uh-huh.
of people are intimidated to talk to their banker. They're intimidated to talk to a lawyer. They're intimidated to talk to professionals who can give them that step up and help them to improve their cash flow. So imagine with your gold crayon or any other color crayon in this module and this lesson, you just write the word that kind of sticks in your craw. What if you did debt? Oh my goodness, debt.
Mm-hmm.
Write debt over and over again because, again, with my financial coaching clients, debt can be that sticking point and they're so emotional that they're not even seeing a way out or just can't make that first move to implement the strategies we created.
Ah,
And
yeah, and
so, yeah.
sorry, not to cut you then, but what I
Uh-huh.
recognize, just as you said that a while ago, is that there's a lot of persons who, when they hear death, they look the other way, they turn the other way, and hope that
Yeah,
when they turn back, it will disappear. And this way,
exactly.
you kind of just, okay, let me face this, and let me see how I can go through it.
Yes.
And if that's my intention to get through
Yeah.
this, then that then becomes some other word, and then when you color it with the crayons, it
It
becomes a
loses its
beautiful
bite.
picture.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it loses its bite. Even if you
it
color it
loses
all
its
black
light.
and red and dark, heavy colors, it loses its bite. In the
Yes.
same way, financial planning. There's so many different words that people use that are intimidating. But if we go back to kindergarten and color those words, they
Yeah,
lose their
and
power.
face it. Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
And
So,
notice
so
I'm writing
take
on the back of
control
bank
of it. In other
statements.
words,
I'm using the back of, I'm still old fashioned. I get bank statements. I'm using the back of them. So, yeah. So you de-energize anything that's bothering. So you get your bill. You still get a paper bill or print your PDF of a bill that just upsets you and color on the back of it.
but
Oh my goodness.
as a creative person, one of the things that I learned along the way was to reframe. Every time
Yes,
I get a bill now, I reframe and say, "Oh, I'm so grateful that I have this electric bill because it means that I have a privilege. I have
yes,
electricity."
yes, yes,
So reframing is one of the creative processes that you can engage with in
yes.
order to make friends with the so-called enemy.
All right. So money is our friend. We now have a tool centering
Yeah.
breath, word, and line drawing. All right. My name is Denise Williams, and I was joined by.
Denise Francis Robinson.
Yeah, so you got two dens. Was it D2? And
D2.
we will be back with another technique that you can also probably use the back of your bills and your financial statements. Yeah,
For
and just
sure. For sure.
defang anything that disturbs you. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll be back in the next lesson.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.